Once upon a garden, there was a toad amongst the shrubs, a lonely toad who stared at the stars with mystic insights. It danced among herbs and pondered heaven. Beside the garden, there was a town park and town woodlands. He'd watch people go about their days. He yearned for a friend, sunrise to sunsets. But he was afraid to socialize with other critters and even humans. One day the frog named Chance met a gnome. Oh, a boisterous gnome, a friendly gnome indeed, by the shrubbery. A poet gnome whose name was Larry knocked on the toad's door. The toad was shy, he answered the door. Was in sight, but at his doorstep there was a book of verse. Gnome poetry verse. The gnome watched afar, smiling at Chance, for Chance was grinning to receive a gift. The gnome came back again and again, leaving gnome verse there, gnome verse there. As Chance would read them, the verse would glow light and disappear right off the page. So 'twas like a treat indeed to read. Each morn and eve, one day they met. Larry told Chance uplifting sayings that prompted Chance to be more social. So Chance took the leap. He invited Gnome to teach him to write, and so they wrote verse in the shrubbery, gazing at the stars, just light-hearted bros, laughing near the beams. The two bros set out on adventure, leaving Chance instead as the skies turned red. With such pure beauty, unknown beauty, yet maybe familiar. For Chance was old, so advanced in years. The gnome was just young, but insightful. The frog and gnome flew into the sky, beyond the stars, for the gnome possessed such abilities. They gazed down at towns, the gnome kingdoms, flying overhead. They came to a sky, with northern lights, such red auroras. 'Twas a kingdom of gnomes and toads who lived side by side. The gnomes were poets, the toads poets too. Even their sidewalks were adorned with verse, just light-hearted verse. Under the tree, deep in the soil, 'twas a kingdom of shimmering lights. Oh, the gnomes and toads frolicked. They taught Chance to write. Chance wrote with glee. He was chosen, the chosen one, to write the best verse, to adorn the tree. Chance was 1,000 years old, such an old toad. They told him a tale of his origin. Upon Chance's birth as a baby toad, an eagle took Chance and carried him downwards to earth. So Chance lived alone. Growing up alone, 'twas all he knew. He thought he was only alone. For 1,000 years Chance lived there within a simple garden amongst the herbs. Until he met Gnome Larry. Now instead of weeping upon learning of such news of his whole life lived alone, he rejoiced aloud, for he was grateful to meet his new dear friends in the tree past the sky. 'Twas like paradise. They drank tea and wrote verse upon verse. Cheered, the friends all delighted. Larry took Chance to the top of their kingdom tree to view even other gnome kingdoms. Each gnome kingdom had their own special creative hobby. There was music gnomes, storytelling gnomes, gnomes of all creative sorts. Same with the toads. Chance was vastly inspired. Such happiness. Chance began writing. Verse upon verse, he wrote such beauty non-stop. Gnomes and toads watched him aghast as he wrote and wrote, smiling so bright. The kingdom tree glowed bright too. Chance wrote verse so true, grateful, such light-hearted gratefulness. God was blessing him, and he could feel so happy. His heart welled with happiness. The more grateful verse written, the more light-hearted he seemed. Chance wrote one last line. As all toads and gnomes watched him, the verse was read. Thank you, God, for this purely happy, blessed life. You've made me soaring in contrite, happy blessedness. And then Chance passed on. He died and went to heaven in Jesus. The gnomes and toads wrote grateful verse from then on in the form of hymns to Jesus the God, as they learned from Chance gratefulness' true value. For gratefulness can take thousands and years of sorrow and turn it to be and see it as a blessing. Maybe Gratefulness in perfect orchestration is the blessing we wait for. Such blessing we all long for, as we wait for Christ to meet him at his grateful sword heaven's gates. Oh, that's the end of that tale.